Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is John Stringer. And John helps people explore higher levels of consciousness and tap into their genius to help them live a more fulfilling life. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Gracious to be here, or grateful, I should say. You're gracious for having me here. Thank you.
Well, it's definitely an interesting topic. Everybody wants to be able to tap into their genius and live a fulfilling life. That's what everybody should actually be dreaming and striving for. Give us a little bit about your background, John. Tell us a little bit about how you got to this point now where you're able to help other people out live a fulfilling life.
Sure. I basically started out like most of us, born into a family. And my family was not your typical for some, but it was a beautiful family that taught me just a lot about exploring who I am. You get your parents' ideas. In my case, it was just my mom around, but going through those challenges really helped me begin to seek and discover who I am and who I wanted to be. And there was a big gap between who I wanted to be and who I was. And so struggled with that for a long time, probably until my 30s. Met my wife, went through a lot of different things. I was blessed to go to great schools, great colleges, but never really achieved what I wanted to achieve. Got into a rock band, toured the world, went to all different countries, hit a top 10 Billboard single, and started my own label and got an investor and all of that. And during that time, I had met my then girlfriend, now wife, and she was a big part of becoming a catalyst, like things we were going through on that journey. Begin to see I did not like who I'd become. I was really struggling. But so I started exploring new things. I really cried out to the only thing I knew, and that was religion. So I used prayer and just asked, what am I, I don't want to live like this anymore. What am I supposed to do? And one thing led to another. Started meditation, began a lot of different things to shift where I was. And what that did was help me start discovering information. Long story short, like literally bringing in, listening to information, accessing information, through practices that I began to employ and apply the teachings I was hearing to my life, and it just transformed things. Next thing you know, I stepped into the role of teacher and share these teachings with other people, and begin to see these teachings all around and in every religion and all these different things. But I wasn't accessing it through religion. I was accessing it internally and bringing these teachings through, and that really just changed things, man. And it ended up writing books, writing more music with what I call a higher frequency, because that's how I hear it. But also still applying these things and still expanding and changing my life. It's changed my relationship with my wife, my kids, for the better. But it's also changed how I feel moment to moment and how I manage just being in the present moment and whatever arises. But like I'm now equipped and know how to navigate whatever arises in a way that feels good versus feels disempowering or creates a lot of suffering. And that's what I share. That's what, through that process, my wife and I decided to really dedicate our lives to service. And we've created a company where we just serve. But it's in a fulfilling way. It uses our talents and our gifts, and we bring those to bringing things to the world that help others feel good, but also help equip them with tools to navigate whatever's arising. So.
Right. I think a lot of people get to that stage in life to where, they've done a lot of things. They've worked the 9 to 5. They've got their job, and yet they still feel unfulfilled, and they know that there's something else out there. They want to be able to tap into that. And obviously your wife was a big part in helping you get there and leading you there. And your wife is here with you today. Kathy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been really enjoying this ride with my husband.
Well, give us a bit of your background as well, Kathy, because you have a company, Healing Arts Management, and that's something that well, tell us a little bit about that and what you do to help your husband now on that journey.
Sure. So my background quickly is I've been in the music business, went to college, got a degree in music management, and ran a big music conference for 11 years. That's where John and I met. He was a performer at my music event. And, as he and I began our relationship, we had quite a journey, but we got to a point where we recognized that we really wanted to help others with the skills that we had, been able to acquire over the years. So we started Healing Arts Management, where we represent him, but also other artists that are raising the vibration of the world with their talents, whether they're an artist, whether they're a musician, a songwriter, a public speaker, all of those things that really their intention is to raise the vibration and bring power to the world. So that's what we started together. And we also recently started a podcast together called Awakened Pillow Talk, which has really been a great opportunity for John and I to share a lot of our experiences and help people. And so we've really stepped out in trying to raise the vibration ourselves.
Yep. Well, I really love that. I think that's super important, especially for myself that have kids that are very impressionable. They're in their teenage years right now. Music especially is something that has such an impact on their lives. And to have that positivity that they can tap into, rather than, most of the music that teens listen to these days is negative, but, having that positive voice or, artist that's really going to help raise the vibration, like you say, is super important. So, I know that you have a project that you've been working on and you have released in the last couple of days. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So during one of these sessions of meditation and really asking what did I need to know back in 2015 when the Black Lives Matter movement came about, I had this incredible experience where it felt like almost like energy of ancestors. This may sound woo to some, but because of our interconnectedness, what I've explored is we can actually expand our awareness into so many things we think is impossible. And a lot of those are conditioned, limited thinking that when we begin these practices, we begin to let go. So I began to expand into this energy that felt almost ancestral. And I was really feeling through some things and just had this amazing shift. And what came through was this spoken word piece. Was first just almost like a poem, but I just typed it out. And it was called The Power of Love and Black Lives Matter. I shared it in August of 2015, and a lot of people responded to it, really seemed to help a lot of folk. It was healing for me, healing for my wife, and we really begin to see that whole hashtag Black Lives Matter in a different light to bring love to it. And what if there was a way for us to use compassion and see this as an opportunity versus some divisive thing, right? And because it has been since then and now currently, as of the time of this interview, it has been used very divisively as well. And the piece came back around recently when my wife had the idea. She's like, we should do a video for that piece and then lead it into this other song called We Matter. We do something what we call essentially checking in. We just meditate and ask what's ours to do. Should we do that or not? And we got no. And what I heard was, wait, watch what happens. Just sit back and watch what happens. Next thing you know, someone calls us probably 2-3 days later at most and asks if they can do a video for our song and pay us for them to use it on one of their Sunday services. We're like, oh, okay. That eliminates having to hire anyone for that song. That was for We Matter. And it was a beautiful, powerful video. So it's like, all right, we see that this is why we were hearing to wait and watch. Then another friend calls us not long after and says, hey, my friend had this idea, a client of his. And what ends up coming out of that is we get inspired, like, to make a video for the power of love and Black Lives Matter. And it was an idea we hadn't thought of before, to have other people say the parts. And so, but in their own voice. And so we're like, wow, that could be powerful. We're just imagining, like, we had all kinds of people on the wish list. Like, whoa, this is exciting. But of course, we stopped again and asked, is it ours to do? Or should we just still keep watching what happens? This time we got, yes, this is yours to do. So we're like, okay. So we got on it. We just reached out to a producer named Sandy Hulan
in Orlando.
She was, I was actually speaking the night of the Pulse shooting in Orlando. I was down very near Pulse, but that evening I'd just given a talk in music and at one of the spiritual centers there called Christ Church Unity. They brought me back in after I did the Sunday morning service with music and found out what had happened that night. And then they brought me back Wednesday for the memorial. That's where we met the producer who has been in touch, wanted to do some stuff together, but we called her and said, look, here's what we got. She helped. We reached out to other people we knew, like Michael Beckwith at Agape, powerful spiritual center. He was a guy in The Secret.
Got connected to Sister Jenna, who is a beautiful,
powerful woman
who started a great meditation site. So these people, once again, that are raising the vibration, started to show up in our awareness, and we just were able to really. Our intention was to really get a diverse group of people that felt connected to the healing words of the spoken word piece.
Exactly,
and really knowing that these people and their healing power, just speaking those words, coming together, would really be so powerful at the end. And it is so amazing.
It came together with a lot of people. Sister Jenna reached out to a bunch of people. Louis Gossett Jr. came as a result of that. Jay Ivey, the award-winning poet. Just people just started spreading it and bringing folk together. Incredible author named Reverend Deborah Johnson. The mentor of one of Michael Beckwith's mentors is in it. Dr. Barbara Lewis King, she's a dear spiritual leader for us as well. Christened our son, in fact, when he was born. So just a lot of beautiful things came about. And once we shared it, it's honestly become the fastest viewed video I've ever put out. It's just been amazing. But it was truly, best way I could say it is, our intention was to completely surrender to what needed to happen with it, because we feel like it's not ours per se. It's like everybody's. And it's just a message that came through that seems to be healing for people. And so we just felt like, okay, if this needs to be heard by more people, we're going to surrender to what we're hearing to do and just trust and take those steps. And what came out of it was way beyond what I guess what would have happened had we tried to hire somebody to make a video. Like, it didn't cost us a penny, but we put a lot of time and energy into coordinating, and the video editor, creative director, she did an amazing job. Shannon Croft just blew way beyond anything we would have even envisioned for it. And she did all this free, just investing her time and energy. Everyone did all for free, just serving. Being willing to help come together in unity and bring a message of love, empowerment, and compassion for a topic that really has been used very divisively. And people don't understand. I think some people have been conditioned to react to it versus look beyond with love and look beyond and have that compassion for those who are hurting. And so, they're not the only ones who are hurting, but at this time, that's one area we can focus on and give some love. It's kind of like if my son had a cold and my daughter stumped her toe, And then my other daughter was fine. I'm going to give them focused attention.
Exactly.
Give this son focused attention, do the best and meet him where he's at. Then I'm going to go to my daughter, give her focused attention. The other daughter, I say, hey, I love you, but she's not really needing like the same thing. So yeah, all my children matter, but this one right now, you're hurting. I'm going to help you out. So
of course,
that's kind of how I feel about the project. And that's kind of the message we've been trying to share.
I think it's also an opportunity, as being in a blended family. John's African American, I'm white. There's a question for me as a white woman, what do I do? What can I be a part of that can be healing and uplifting and really asking and listening for an answer? And so grateful that this came to us, because the feedback we've gotten from people has been healing for them. So, sometimes you just want to help, you want to do something and you don't know what to do. So for us, getting these people involved who also really wanted to share love, it was just a great way for us all to come together. And then, the intention is that everybody that sees it feels it.
Mm. Well, I've definitely watched it myself, and it is a great piece. It's very inspiring. You're both in it yourself, and I believe that your son and daughter are also in it, along with all these other notable people that have just come together. And like you said, when something's meant to happen, the people come together and they make it happen. They make it a great piece. Tell me, what do you believe now is the goal for this piece? What do you hope that it will accomplish?
Really help people shift internally. That's it. Just helping them shift internally to a point of, I guess, recognizing what really helps us see each other in a unifying way is love. Plain and simple. And if somebody's hurting, compassion is tapping into that. And I feel like when we tap into that, our awareness expands in a way that isn't logical, in the sense of it begins to shift our perception in a way that doesn't necessarily make logical sense, but it has to do with our interconnectedness, and it has to do with the power of love, literally, like it's a transformative power. So helping people tap into that is the simple objective. And really, there's some action items we've tied to the video that people can check out and take. And if they feel led to take them, and resources we put out there, if they resonate with them, great. If they don't, that's great too. But it's a very simple intention, just to bring love to this specific topic. And I feel as if, my wife and I have talked about this, and others, that we have seen these cycles of suffering and cycles of separation, racial issues, from as long as recorded history can account for. And there's never been anything that has necessarily changed that we've ever done to eliminate that. And I don't necessarily see that as the objective. Not that we don't want to have a more just and fair and loving society. Not that we don't want to create laws that protect folk who are being oppressed, or, eliminate systemic racism. But I feel those are all symptoms of something else. And without addressing our individual responsibility to shift what's going on and how we see each other, how we see ourselves, how we see our interconnectedness, and how we see our roles in life, without addressing that, I think the rest is like a distraction. Like that's the primary objective. And if we can hit that, we've actually done something to set ourselves free and to tap into a transformative power that is independent of these cycles. And those cycles may never, like, we can't control the cycles, but we can control our ability to tap in once we learn how to do that, to tap into that transformative power, and it changes our individual life. I feel like that's more what this message is, with this video, is just one way of trying to bring more of that about. where it's and taking inspired action. It's not that we don't believe in action, but inspired action versus action based on separation and divisiveness. That action leads to a lot of destruction, disempowerment, continuation of these cycles, and just we haven't seen that to be something that truly transforms and heals in a way where the cycles stop in our own lives. So that's I hope that answers your question.
Well, there's certainly awareness about the problem right now, and we see some things in the news that probably aren't that helpful. But a message like this, where people can really take it and think about it and be able to work on themselves, like you said, I think that is the one way that we're going to be able to help everybody out and see everybody as the same, is that if we first work on ourselves, which is a beautiful thing. So tell me, John, where can people actually go and find this piece? Where can they hear it?
So it's on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. You can just type in John Stringer and search for it on YouTube, or you can go to actually johnstringerinc.com and it'll be featured where you can link to it. It's also on Facebook. I think it's spreading on Facebook faster than it is on YouTube, funny enough. But either of those platforms, you type in John Stringer or the title Power of Love and hashtag Black Lives Matter, and it should pop up. Also, the original version we recorded and released in 2015 as a spoken word piece on my album called Limitless Love and Light. So it's also on there, as well as I wrote that and the song We Matter to be a more unifying song to look at every area where we're creating this sort of separation and can bring love and unity to it. So that's also available on any streaming platform. You find both of those, as well as my site. If people want to support and purchase it, go to the store, johnstringerinc.com/store. And we'd love to have that support as well.
Excellent. Well, when you have a powerful piece like this, people will want to share it. And I hope people that listen to it do get out there and share it in social media and really share that message of love, power of love, and hashtag Black Lives Matter. Go search for that on YouTube and Facebook. John and Kathy, what is next, John, for your life and for Healing Arts Management?
Great question. We're continuing to listen. And as I mentioned, we're always asking what's ours to do. We're really, with the Awakened Pillow Talk podcast Kathy mentioned that we're producing through Healing Arts Management. It's been an avenue where we can share some of the other things that are working for us. The many ways of applying this expanded awareness and listening has led us to not only authoring books. We co-authored a book with some people may be familiar with Marianne Williamson, for example, a whole bunch of other great authors. It's like Chicken Soup for the Soul, but it was called
Love and Oneness.
Adventures in Manifesting, Love and Oneness. So we authored that book a while back, and then released another book called The Alignment Vibration, A Guide to Alignment. Kathy's working on a wonderful book right now based on her musings she publishes. I'll be bringing through another one, I expect. So I've got one I've been working on for I don't even know how long, but it's just years worth of information that I've brought through, and I don't know what that book's going to look like. So that's one of the things. Also, I'm doing the audio book for the Abundance Vibration. I think I said that wrong. The Abundance Vibration, A Guide to Alignment, is coming next.
And of course, John has many beautiful albums of wonderful music that we continue to promote. It's been a very unique time right now as far as doing a lot of things online, as a lot of people are. So we're sharing music and concerts and talks online to really, be examples of how we can, move through this new way of being with love and light. And
in getting authentic and vulnerable, we like to call it, of the challenges.
The challenges do pop up, even with Limitless Love and Light.
That's right.
It's what is your choice how do you move through them is really the only power we have.
And what the lessons are you get to learn through those challenges. So we've really enjoyed. That's really what's next for us, to continue to do that through the podcast, through the new books coming up. I'm doing a lot of talks at different spiritual centers online, talks and sharing music. So people can tune in that for free, of course. And then we launched a VIP coaching group that kind of goes over balance through mind, body, and spirit, and this whole expanded awareness and higher levels of consciousness. So that is a free group that people can sign up for. It has 1 unit of 5 different video series that focus on a specific thing: the body, the mind, the things that we're using.
That's on Facebook.
That's on Facebook. Yeah, it's a free group with the video series built in. People can actually sign up for it, though, on healingartsmanagement.com. Just go to the podcast section and you'll see the sign up for Awakened Pillow Talk.
Excellent. Well, it seems like you've got a lot going on, and the story continues. You're getting yourselves out there and helping people raise their levels and tap into that genius that we talked about at the start. John and Kathy Stringer, thank you very much for being my guest today. If there's one thing that you would just like to leave with the audience, what would that be?
Go ahead, you first.
I'd like to say that I think this is a unique time to shine the light on the darkness and to accept what we see and send it love.
Beautiful. Well, again, John and Kathy Stringer, thank you very much for being my guest today. You can find out more information. Remember the Power of Love, and at Black Lives Matter on YouTube, and you can look for that on Facebook as well. And let me see if I get this right. JohnStringerInc.com is the best way to find you. And then Healing Arts Management, which is MGMT.com. Make sure you just go and check out what these beautiful people are doing. And again, thank you very much for being my guest. And I look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you so much for having us.
Enjoyed being here.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we will see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to The Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.